Welcome to the Paranormal Pride. I'm your host, Denise Pridemore, and my husband, Ron. And tonight, I'm the producer, too. So if you have any complaints, call my boss and tell him. No, because I don't care. But I'd like to welcome all of you here tonight. I'm sorry I didn't have a show last week, but you know what? I rescheduled Cheryl Ann so you guys could all hear her. And she has all kinds of interesting stories to share. I think you guys will really enjoy listening to her. So if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat and I will make sure that we ask those questions. And also for all of you that have been asking about my nephew who has glioblastoma, he is doing well. We just got a report that he is doing really good. His tumors did reduce, and the benefit that they had for him in Virginia did really well. So thank you guys for all your prayers, but keep those prayers coming. He's got to go to Duke next week to get an update on what his, first off, his prognosis, and second, what his course of treatment is going to be going forward. So
hello, Tom. Hello, Crystal.
Please keep that in mind. So now I'm going to welcome Cheryl Ann Fletcher to the show. Hey, welcome, Cheryl Ann. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it a lot.
Well, you know, I'm coming up on my 10-year anniversary next week.
Girl.
Yep. So that gives
amazing.
you some idea of how long we've probably known each other.
Exactly. Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's really cool.
It seems
really cool.
longer. It just seems longer.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Hello, Mom.
Well,
it's the soul, the soul connection. I believe we have reason to believe that it has been a lot longer. At least I feel it. I don't feel like it's only been 10 years. I feel like, you guys have been in my life for a long time. So
yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you, I remember
there's a lot of other people we've met like that.
Yeah. I remember that time that we had been to Malvern and you were going to be one of our remote readers.
Uh-huh.
And you couldn't do it. You had an emergency.
Yep.
And you called me. We got right about the rest area on 29.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cold, it's yucky, all kinds of stuff. And you started to talk to me, telling me this story of everything that had happened. And I think it went down. Shoot, we probably got down to the next rest area, the one in Missouri.
Uh-huh.
Before I said, Cheryl Ann, I have to go because I had to go. And I just remember the story. I'm not going to share it because it was personal, but I just remember when I talked to you, it's like, this is great because, I'd only interviewed you once and you had offered to do this reading while we were there of the place that you didn't know where we were at the time.
Right.
And then you at least had the wherewithal to call me the next day and apologize for not being available. And, first off, I appreciated that.
Mm-hmm.
We've had other people that will say they'll do things and that we never hear from them ever again. And here we are 10 years later, still friends, still talking about all the different things. You showed up at Ron's surprise birthday party, and I guarantee you're not going to show up at mine because mine just got canceled. But well, it got rescheduled. So our daughter's coming to
Ron,
town.
You gotta kind of let me know. You gotta let me know, Ron. So
Oh well, we're driving down to Key West next month. That's
okay.
My birthday gift.
Nice.
So it'll be it's going to go as our birthday and anniversary.
Yeah, I can't surprise her. She knows when her birthday is.
Well, yeah. Are you okay, Ron?
Are you?
Now I got a cat bugging the crap out of me.
So Cheryl Ann, what, I know that you guys did your film, 1 in 6 million.
Mm-hmm.
What have you done since then?
Well, it's interesting. Everybody's like, what are you doing since then? Be working on it anything? Are you working on a book? What are you doing in life? And I said, well, let me just tell you, I have had nothing but nonstop ideas on that second coming of this movie. Been writing them out. This time, I have in place the script written in a way that it'll be a lot more easier to produce and do production. And I'm just like, you know what? I have poured myself into this to go ahead and make another movie. We wanted to actually start filming this summer, but in light of that, we have had moving. We moved from Lincoln, Nebraska down to Friend, Nebraska. We've had to deal with Betty being 92, Mark's mom, getting her settled here. So a lot of it's taken a back seat, but as soon as we get her completely settled here, I'm back on it. So yeah, there will be a second 1.6 million. And this time, a lot of what I wrote this time about it will be, because I think I told you how the last time I did this and nobody's ever done this before that I'm aware of in the film industry, because I really did look for it. We went into the location and my characters knew that I was just going to give them a one-liner. Basically, for an example, I want you to walk over there and you're going to hear some paranormal noise, and I want you to go into it as if you are on it. You know what you're going to say, and you know how you're going to act, and I want to see you bring it to life for me. See my vision. And back then when we did the first one, that's how everybody did it. I mean, each character was so in my vision that it was very obvious that when they went to act these things out and I would just shoot them a line and they would run with it, and they knew what they were doing. They saw the vision like I saw my vision. And so this time it's going to be a little bit more scripted so that when they do sit down in the meeting, we had 4 meetings prior to even filming. So this time when we do the sit down meetings, we're actually going to be reading the script. We're going to read script, play it out, walk it out, talk it out, act it out. This time, it's not going to be winging it. But even though we had a blast, I'm going to tell you, we had so much fun with winging it. I mean, to tell you, I did not think for a moment that it would come out like it did, and God, it was good. It really, I mean, only 72 hours worth of work, right? And people go, oh my God, only 72 hours and a $4,000 budget. And we kicked it. So this next one, well, obviously the budget is going to be a lot larger. And we will have actual script to sit down and read together each part. And the characters that were in this last movie will obviously be in the next one, but we've got add-ons too that are going to play very special parts coming up in this next movie. So it'll be interesting.
Okay. So that sounds really interesting. And that means that you guys did yours on a budget less than what the Blair Witch Project did, and it was better. Yeah. How is that? I mean, we all know the Blair Witch Project was hooey. It was fake. There were people out there that thought it was real, and it was all a production. Only thing it did to me is give me a headache. That's all it did for me. Give me a headache.
Yeah. So, the nice thing about this, though, is that when you get people together and you have meetings, business meetings, before you actually do your thing, if I think a lot of it has to do with passion in being able to effectively communicate with other people, that they can feel your vibe and know your direction and have that same get up and go, because they know that what the pushing I did with that, by taking it out and traveling with that movie and showing it in different locations, their faces were out in public on big screen. So these people, I said, you know what? This next one around, I've already got 2 people who are going to push it in Hollywood for me. The next one.
Well, that's good. Well, the good thing
And you
about
know that,
having those meetings is that if you find a line doesn't work in the script, you can fix it before you have to perform it, and you know what fits for that character at that time.
and you know the cool part about what you just said is it really gives to the character, the person who's playing that particular part, some kind of control. Because that's what I learned about making movies. If you can't give your character some control of what's going on, you know, they don't really feel like the movie belongs to them either. And I
Right.
said when we sat down, and I said, look, we're family. All going to work in this together. We're going to have sessions where you can bitch about it. There's going to be sessions where we can, you know, tweak things, and we're going to work with that. But if you have people that are really gun ho about a project, and they knew and they saw the project, and when I said this is the ending to the project, they went, what the? And I was like, yeah, that's how we're going to get from part A to part Z, is this is how we're going to fill it in. And when you have an idea and you feel like there's another part that could make a better twist at it or come around a different way at it, we're going to work with that. We're not going to say, no, that ain't going to work. We're going to shelf that part. No, we actually, the guys that were in the show, they had their time to talk about what they felt like needed to be fixed. And they had their time to say, hey, why don't we go this direction with it? You know, everybody had a part, even, you know, Faith and, you know, me being the only 2 females in the whole production. You know, Faith would come to me and say, you know, I think you know, when she was doing her hair, here's an example. She's doing her hair, right? And she's like, you know, I think I ought to wear my hair this way for this particular part of the movie. And I'm like, girl, do it. Just whatever feels comfortable for you, then just do it. So that's how it went.
Do you have a working title for this next one?
Yeah, I sure
That you
do.
can share? If you can't share, we
No,
understand.
no, I don't want to share it yet. No, not
Okay.
yet. Because I'm like between a half and 3/4 there, and when I can, well, maybe next time we come up on this show again, you know, when we can do it again, say maybe a couple months out, then I will be able to show you not only my heart with what I'll just hold up the manuscript a little and go, this is the title to the new one. So
I can't wait. You know, when
oh my
when
God.
you want to share, just reach out and say, "Hey, Denise, I'm ready to share, and I want you to be the first one to hear
First
it."
one. Yes, ma'am. Oh, heck yeah. You absolutely have that right to be the first one, you know.
Oh yeah, and then you got
That's
Keith. He's great. I love Keith
Yeah.
Ottersberg. He is such a good man. And is he going to
you
be?
know.
And you said he's going to be in this, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Um, you know, back in the day when I was having my events at like the Cornhusker in Lincoln for the paranormal events, and you know, when I had Josh Hurd there and Tommy Bull and Jeff Mudgett, and you know, I said to Keith, I was like, dude, I'm gonna put you on that stage. And he's like, no, I am not.
I
No.
remember you telling me that.
He was so frightened. And I said, look, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to stick you up there. And you know, I'm going to sit right where you can see me. And you're just going to talk to me. Just look at me and talk to only me. At least you have that feeling of being on stage and having that moment in time where no one can take that away from you because you earned it. You also created it. Well, he got up on that stage, and Denise and Ron, I tell you what, I wish you guys could have seen that. He got up there, seriously. And he kind of, you know, worked into it like anybody would. But then when he got started, that dude was like ripping it. And I'm like, oh, sure, Keith, whatever.
Yeah.
He did so good.
he acts so bashful and then he's not.
Well, I think he likes it. I told him one time, it's a long time ago, I said, you like the sneak attack approach where you like to sneak up and act like you ain't it, and then all of a sudden you become it. Mm-hmm. And I said, why is that? He goes, well, because I'm taking numbers along the way.
So, hey, Dan. Hey, Raymond.
Raymond.
So
this next time around, everybody that was in it will be in it. Yeah.
Well, I remember when you were having those events, but they were at times when we were doing other things. So you had asked us to come up for that one with Jeff Mudgett. And we couldn't. And I don't remember if it was because it was early spring and we had crappy weather, or something else had happened. We were out of town, or I don't remember exactly.
We were out of town.
So, but I know that, once I told Ron that you were having those events, he was like, yeah, probably Vegas.
Vegas, true.
So, we wanted to come up so bad, but other things, us, family first.
We are all, well, not only that, we are all in that paranormal realm where, we plan these events and we plan to see people, we plan to investigate, we plan to do this, and, we just plan. So not everything that I do will work with you, vice versa, and it's like, I just shoot it out there and say, hey, look, people, if you got time, come to this. But, we are rolling into the planning season of the events that are coming up for me, which I'll be holding them out here in Friend, which will be mostly outside, like picnic type style. People, I'm telling you, people love being outside for gallery reads because then they don't feel so clustered. They don't feel phobic in any way because you can, like, the open air just does something for people when they can, relax, for me to dig into them and see into them. And, they feel a lot more relaxed. They feel, this is working. So my sister Joni, who is my manager of everything that I do and have done in the last year, and she was also the artistry work for all the 1 in 6 million, the front cover, all the artistry work, the designs, everything. So she has taken it upon herself to say, hey, look, I'm going to manage you. And I'm like, oh, God, thank you, Jesus. I needed management. Because it gets a lot. People don't realize how hard it is to manage yourself. When you're promoting and being an entrepreneur, if you don't get the help, you get support, but you need help. People, it's nice to have my sister doing this, but she's working with Chamber of Commerce here in Nebraska and Earl Lincoln. And she's working on getting a couple of events going for June, July, and August. And then in September, that's when I'm going to probably start rolling with the idea of where we're going to film this next project. Because you saw the ending, right? You saw the ending to this movie. And in your head, and I'm not talking about my personal interview, but the ending. And so in your head, you should be asking yourself, where the hell is he going with that?
Yeah, it seemed open-ended.
Exactly. So imagine just, if you would, you're driving down the road and you see somebody with a big white van and you think raper van. That's everybody thinks of that. Mm-hmm. But, to have something in the back of the van, what is in that van? So even with that being said, you have to, if people here saw the movie, they would understand, where is Keith driving off with that hot water heater? Where is he going to go with that? Now that he has a body in it, where's he going?
Who knows?
Susan and Mike.
So
back from storm chasing, I assume.
Yeah, I would just, they really were. They were out storm chasing yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
So,
did you see a raper van, a white one?
Yeah, no, they were in their car. But I could see you taking. I mean, you have some really good areas to go to up there that are really rural, that will really match the type of film that you did the first time.
Yeah.
You know, that are dark. Malvern Manor would be an option. I think it'd be too expensive, but it sounds like an option. Another place would be possibly the Farrar Schoolhouse if it changes hands, which I think it did. I think somebody else bought it out from those kids.
But, I hope so. But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you've got some good areas out there. Maybe even Edinburgh, someplace that you think is going to be.
Have you got a place picked yet?
For the next one,
yeah,
I'm kind of leaning. Yeah, kind of.
You're going to get it towards something.
Yep, I got something here now. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it might be nice to do a place that nobody's heard of too.
Very good call, Missy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or maybe even someplace everybody's heard of and give it a new story. You know, there's a couple of different things. Yeah.
That was an option. Actually, what I did do is, you know, by chance. Chance is everything, I'm telling you. So what I did was I took a bunch of little pieces of paper and wrote areas down, you know, and I folded them up and I put them in a hat, shook them around, pulled one out, and I went, that's delicious. You know, it's just like a fine glass of wine when you roll it on the back of your tongue. You're like, oh, yes, oh, yes. But yeah, it came out. The particular location came out to where I was hoping I would pull. And it wasn't like planned to pull it that way because all the papers were in the same, you know, they were same. And so feeling around in there would not have given me any type of, oh, it's that one, grab that one. No, I shook them, shook the hell out of them. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And I shut my eyes, I grabbed it, and I was really happy with what I pulled.
Well, I'm glad you didn't let Panda Express put it in a fortune cookie for you, because those kids sometimes miss getting those fortunes in those cookies.
I know, right? I know.
I know. I swear I'm probably the only person that eats them.
Right. And you know what I used to say to Mark? I say to him, hey, why don't you take that little piece of paper out of there with all them numbers and go play the lottery just for fun, right? Never once did he ever hit anything. And people ask me too, like, how do I play it? You know, do I foresee the numbers? I'm like, no, I won't do that. You know, because it'd be just my luck, you know. I would see the numbers, I'd focus on them and see them, which I have done in the past, but I never played it. Because that would be, everybody would say, oh, sure, you know, you could do that and you could win it anyway. So I always let the machine pick it, because then if I win $20 or $100 or whatever, it's not me doing it, it's the machine.
Well, and the thing is when you see the numbers, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be that one that you're playing that day.
Yes,
it could be 20 years in the future. You don't know that. It could have been 20 years ago, and it's too late.
But you know, like people out there that are so judgmental on stuff like such as my gift and like your gift and others, you know, that would be the first thing out of their mouth. Oh, sure. She saw that one coming.
I tell you, and my problem is you got to play to win, and I don't play.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a place where I could play the lotto yesterday, and I don't ever pay attention to that stuff. I walked in, went to the bathroom, and said, "Oh, I didn't know. I forgot that Florida had a lottery."
Yeah,
because I don't play.
People have asked me before if I would give up the numbers, and I'm like, "Are you kidding? If I was gonna do that, I'd be down there with you."
That's right.
I'd have myself a hell of a mansion by now. Really?
Yep.
Oh my Lanta. But anyway, going forward, you know, I'm just doing the movie, and I do have a an idea on a new book, and I've been wrestling with it because let me tell you something. People think, it's no big deal to sit down and write a book. Oh, it is a big deal. It really is. It's time consuming. You know, like when I did this last book, it was like Mark would come home and I'm like still in my pajamas from work. And then I would almost shower at night. And I'd get up the next day and I put fresh pajamas on. But it was like I was married to my computer. And I had no other life outside of that because I said, if I'm going to start this book, I'm not stopping until I'm done. I'd stop to go to the bathroom, sure, or to eat something, but it's so time consuming. And I could find somebody to help me write it, but it wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be my words. It wouldn't be my life. No.
Right.
So.
I don't blame you.
Hey, Caitlin.
Long time no see, Caitlin.
Yeah.
See you in October. So, but yeah, it's one of those things that you do get consumed with what you're doing when it's something that you love.
Oh, definitely. And there's so much passion in it. It's like you live and breathe it, because what you're like with my book that I wrote, I was reaccounting everything that I had been through. So going back through it all, detail by detail, scene by scene, which one do I want to put in this book? Do I want to leave a cliffhanger? How do I want to end this book? Do I want to end it raw as raw can be? Or do I want to have a cliffhanger and say, hey, you know what? Let's go with this part to make everybody think, oh, she's going to do a second one. Well, I am, but it won't be so much about the paranormal life or the psychic reading stuff. It may be in the works that it's just going to be a regular, normal book about what I've been through for ghost hunting. I've always wanted to write a book about ghost hunting.
I mean, our good friend Frank, he's coming. Yeah. Frank J. Bennett, you guys, he's coming out with another book about ghost hunting, and I'm interested to see what his take is on it, since he's not a paranormal investigator.
Mm-hmm. He says that every time I just love that guy.
He's a big flirt. I'm going to say that.
Yeah. He's a flirty flirt. I love him though. He was so nice to us when we were down there.
I don't know how we would have gotten along if I had met him when we both lived in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's about 3 years older than me. So at that time, I'd have been like a 14-year-old and he'd have been an 18-year-old, maybe, 15, 18, something like that.
Yeah, but he also said he was a lot different then.
Yeah, he was a lot different then. Now. And
well, I guess we all were.
Yeah. I mean, I was a kid. So
I think so, Ron.
So I kind of wonder if we did ever, meet the same people, around that same time. I don't know. Because Baltimore's big, but it's not. I mean, it is very strange when I run into people and I start talking to them and find out that they lived in the same area I lived in. I mean, heck, I just talked to my cousin. He didn't know he knew he was my cousin. He never talked to me before. Was it last week? Yeah, last week. We found out, long story, but we were talking and I explained to him about the places that I'd been and found out that his mother, that I'd never thought I'd met in a restaurant in Baltimore when I was probably 9 years old. She remembers meeting me when I was 9.
Isn't that a scream? Oh my God.
And I mean, it's just weird when you think about it in that fashion.
Yeah.
So
wow.
But yeah, I mean, and I'm friends with her on Facebook.
Yeah.
But she only knows that because she's seen the pictures of me when I was little, and that's how she remembered me. So I thought that was funny and strange at the same time. So
Yeah.
it's like we're all meant to meet the people we meet. One way or another, we're meant to meet them.
Oh,
So,
definitely. And the old saying too is, somebody can come into your life and they can be there for so many different seasons of your life. And then out of nowhere, they just fall off. And, I believe wholeheartedly that people bring to us what we're meant to learn from them temporarily. It's not, it's like some people come and go and give us what we need and then they're out the door. And sometimes that really can hurt because all the support you've given, and all the support you've received, that to me, that should have never been a disconnect because in time that person's going to need that support again for some reason or another. So where are they at trying to find that support? It's like, hey, you know, uh, what happened with that? It just doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. But
yeah,
yeah.
but I also believe that the people that we connect with, if we lose touch and we reconnect,
Mm-hmm.
it's like no time has passed. Because that's like it
Right.
is with my other cousin, Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
We saw her in Vegas, and now we see her every year. We meet up down here, at the beach. She comes
Yeah.
from Arizona to the beach here, and we meet up for one day a year, and we have a great time. And we move on from there. And I'd like to have that relationship with more of my family and more of my
Definitely.
friends. Because
Definitely.
like Rosalie, if she's listening, she came down, we visited with her, and it seemed like we had known her forever and ever, which I knew her well enough. But
Mm-hmm.
once we went to her wedding, and now it's like we want to go see her. We not in Connecticut, but we want to go see her, uh, and hang out with her because it's we made that connection. And
Yeah.
we talk about all the time about if somebody gets close, if you get close, we want to try to see you if we can. And we will make the effort to do it. And we've done
Well,
it.
yeah.
We've driven down to Eureka Springs to
Mm-hmm.
see Frank and Kat.
Yeah.
They were both there at the same time. And so we went down to see them. And, we've driven to Birmingham, going through Birmingham to see Kat.
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City to see my sister,
Mm-hmm.
which was 5 hours, so we'll do it. It's just a matter
Oh,
of,
I hear
hey,
you.
reach out. Yeah, reach out.
Well,
Tell us where
same
you're going to
here.
be. Oh, I
Same
know.
here. I
You
mean,
drove
if I
all the
had
way to
somebody,
St. Louis.
yeah. Well, same here. I mean, if anybody's within 5 hours from me, it's like, tell me because if I'm free and I'm not working on a project or if I'm not working on something, oh, sure, I'll take the time and go see somebody and meet them, especially people, on Facebook, like, hey, I've done that before and it worked out really good. Really
Yeah.
good.
Well, we're an
But I have to
example of
tell
that.
you, oh, yeah. But I have to tell you something really exciting. I've never done this in my life, and I'm so excited. Um, my friend Nancy Bossler here in friend, she she's and such, and all of her friends, and I got a call from her the other night, and a text asking if I would like to join her at the downtown, one of our nicer restaurants here, and it's called the Poorhouse, but it's actually the San Carlos Room. And on May 5th, they're having a big to do. All the women dress up like you're going to the Kentucky Derby. So
Oh,
I had to order a hat. I've got the dress, I've got the shoes, and Nancy and I are so excited to go. I mean, I've never done this. I went to the actual Kentucky Derby about 5 years ago, but
mm-hmm.
it's really super cool to get to kind of meet some people I haven't met in a while or seen in a while since I was living down here. Or I mean, did an event down here like 5 years ago, and I said back then, I said to Mark, I said, you know what, we're gonna live down here one day. He said, you think? And I said, oh, I know. So here we are. So
Yeah.
The exciting thing about that's coming up, and that's kind of a cool thing. And then that thing I applied for Women in Power television show. And I was really, really fortunate to be able to meet and go through with the producers of this. And I really did interview with those people and the team. And I passed really good to up and coming Women in Power television show. Now, they're not going to make any decision on the 4 people that they selected for at least 6 months. And yes, I'm going to be going crazy wanting to know if I won or not, because that would be the next step. That's one of my bucket lists to do. So.
Oh, I hope you do. I hope you get to do it. So, what does well, the thing is we don't want to know, you don't want to do anything for personal gain when it comes to your psychic ability, because then sometimes there's a trade-off of good and bad in that.
Yeah.
So, people think that, some of these TV shows that say that kind of stuff, like Charmed, people truly believe that if you use your ability for your own self, that you're going to end up being cursed as opposed to helped. Do you believe that?
I believe it 100%. I had a weird experience many years ago where I was thinking, wow, there's so many things I could do for myself selfishly. And I had an opportunity to help somebody at that time. And I actually had the audacity to put myself in that position, for one, of going, well, I could do this for me, or I could do this for them. And then I'm like, you know what? My gut told me, and it wasn't my abilities told me. There is a difference, by the way.
Right.
Yeah. I had that gut feeling that, I got this. Not easy. It didn't come to me easy. It wasn't like a serendipity moment where it was like, oh, hard to get, and it was easy and it worked out well. No, death is no joke. We all die, and I wasn't willing to re-die somehow to get it back. So it was just like, if I do this, and the question went through my mind, what if I lose it? It was given to me easily because I was trusted with it. So what if I screw up and then it goes away? And I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to play with that. So I said, forget it. I'm never going to do anything other than for the betterment of other people, because whatever's meant to come for me or come to me will be a blessing in disguise because I earned it. That's where I leave it.
Well, there's always these ways to look at stuff. And the way I see it is, we can't undo what's been done.
Right.
We can only live with it or make it better. If we make it worse, then that's horrible. So you made the right decision at that point. So, but I don't know. If you were to change something from your past, what would you change? I know my answer. What would you change?
If there was something in my past, what would I change? I would have to probably go with like my location of living, because I gave up, places where I was in the country and I felt my best. I felt healthy. I felt, mentally, I felt connected with the universe and things like that. And so giving that up for another circumstance that I had to go with is what those are my regrets, is not staying grounded where I really wanted to be at those times in my life. One was Colorado, in the mountains where I lived. I lived in Fort Collins, Colorado. And then I lived also in Falcon Point in the Springs, Colorado Springs. I lived on a cliff in a really nice home, and darn it, I decided because of a relationship that went sour to go ahead and come back to Nebraska. But the good that came out of it is my son Robert moving back. So I had a child. I didn't think I'd ever have a child, and I did.
And I know not only did you get a child, you got a lifelong relationship.
Yes.
A couple of them.
Yes. Lifelong relationships, and also, people that have been here to support me all this time. People that really believe in what I do. That, I don't know so much to this day if I would have found that kind of support in Colorado. I think if I would have moved more to like the Nevada, California area, I might have had, a lot more followers, because of course over there you can dial up a psychic for $3.99. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And wait, there's more. But
and for $5 more, we can ship you the psychic to your house.
But wait, there's a blue light special down there on the corner. A lady sitting there in her little trailer,
No, it's not blue. I'm sorry. In Nevada, it's not blue. It's a red light special. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Those are the very unique ones.
Yes. And sometimes don't go into the light.
Yes. That is so true. No, Caroline, not that light. Okay, not that light.
No, it's a little dark hole.
There's colorblind going on here.
So, because when I think about things that I would change in my life, then I think about if I change that, what would be the repercussions? Like in your case, you said that you regret not staying there, but if you hadn't left there, you would never have gotten your son. Most likely.
Right, okay? Right.
You wouldn't have met this person. You wouldn't have gotten your son. So, so in all reality, you would be like me. You would change nothing because it all worked out the way it needed to work out. And you're happy. And
I'm good. Yeah.
As I tell Ron all the time, yeah, I wish my dad hadn't died, but what would I have been otherwise? Would I have turned out to be me, or would I have been some other me, some other version? It's kind of like going to the library and looking at all these books, and if I pick this one, it's dark and foreboding, and if I pick this one, it's happy and light. I don't think my life is happy and light, but I don't think it's dark and foreboding. I think I went down the middle of the road. I feel like I went the way I was supposed to go.
Right, exactly.
Ron's only regret is that
I drove off the road.
Yeah, he wishes that he switched with the guy that was going to be stationed down here at Eglin Air Force Base and never met me.
Oh,
teasing.
Oh, that would have been awful. Well, I don't know.
Well, the thing is that whole story that he shares with everybody happened, 4 months before you met me? 4 or 5?
Yeah, about 3 or 4.
Yeah. So we were meant to meet. I know that. There's no other way that we would have if we weren't both in that same small town in Arkansas at the same time. There's no way. He never would have come to Baltimore, and I never would have went to St. Louis. I know that. So
I think destiny is so important. Destiny is such a wonderful thing, and sometimes people will try their darndest to divert their destiny by doing something different because they think they're in control. Well, it's funny because your story kind of reminds me a little bit of when Mark and I, before we met, ironically, I was in California at the same time he was, and we actually narrowed it down to the day, proximate time, that he was going over the San Francisco Bay Bridge when I was going at the same time with another person. So we were very close to, I mean, that close together. And then, well, you know, meeting Mark was my sister's blind date. So, you know, he he was supposed to be with my sister Cindy. I'd come back from Colorado to Lincoln to possibly live, but the actual, my actual destination, my destiny that I thought I was in control of, was I was going to get my head straight after my divorce, and I was going to stay in Lincoln for a little while, and I was going to head down to Florida. Well, that's when my sister Cindy said, "Hey, you got to go out with us, all of us girls, because I have 4 sisters, including myself, and let's go bar hopping, let's go have fun, let's go kick it up." And Cindy says, "Yeah, by the way, I'm meeting some guy down there that is a blind date through my friend Tammy who works at the hospital." And I'm like, "Okay." So I get down there, and you know, here Mark is standing there talking to Cindy, and Cindy acts like she doesn't want no business with him. And he kept looking at me and he goes, "You want to dance?" And you know, we've known each other now for 37 years. So you know, everything's by chance. And you know, I wasn't really that excited to go with them that night, because I was just trying to get my head wrapped around the idea that I needed to go where I needed to go. And God's like, "Oh no, you ain't. You're gonna go and do this, and you're gonna end up getting married to this man, and this man, you're gonna have a baby." And it's like, really? Okay. What do you do?
Yeah.
What do you
Do you
do?
remember? Do you remember when you were young? Because based on how long you've been married, I'm going with we're around the same age.
Yes.
So do you remember in the 70s?
29.
Yeah, in the 70s when we were 12.
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
Do you remember when everybody wanted to do palm readings? When
Yes.
everybody wanted to know, you know, based on the lines in their hand, how many kids they were going to have? Did you ever remember doing any of those for your friends?
No, but I had it done to me. Like I had a friend, I had friends around the block, you know, Barbie dolls and all that jazz. And she had that one piece of paper that you go, yes, no.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I
She
still
had
can make
one.
those.
Yeah, me too. But I haven't done it for
Grandchildren
a
make
long
you do a
time.
lot of shit.
Well, yeah, so right, give it to the kids. Well, anyway, so so she did that, and then she's like, "Give me your hand." And I said, "Okay." So she looks at it and she goes, "Ooh, you got a long lifeline." And then she goes, "Ooh, there's like a little short line over here. That means you're only going to have 3 babies." Ironically, I would have had 3 babies, but I had just Robert, my son. And then the line, some other line, I don't remember. She said, "Oh, you're going to travel and you're going to be famous and you're going to be a celebrity." I'm like, I'm laughing at this point. Go, "Yeah, okay, whatever. Celebrity at what?" Well, hello? I didn't know I was going to die there shortly after all that, but yeah.
So she didn't tell you. She didn't tell you that your lifeline had a stutter in it, did she?
No, she did not. No.
Or
I'm
a
like,
skip?
girl. Yeah. Well, it was an actual break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Break.
if you look at it, it's a break in your line. I was going to say line light. Your lifeline. You do have a little bit of a break. I do have a break, and then it continues. And I'm like, you know, many years go by. Her name was Julie, by the way. I had seen or spoke to Julie like, oh, I don't even know, like 15 years after all that. And we talked about that. She said, I said to her, I said, "How did you know I was going to have 3 babies?" You know, I just was messing with her. And she's like, "I don't know." She said, "I think I heard you say 3." And I went, "Oh God, okay." It was just a weird happening. And see, stuff like that, you know, back in the day when you're young and you're naive to what you could be opening up or what you could be bringing in and you don't realize it. Yeah, I think something told her those things because, like, I don't know. I'm just glad I'm not into that kind of crap, you know. I'm just not.
Did you ever do like a fake seance when you were younger?
No, not at all.
I did some real one. I did some real ones, but though.
Did you
when
really?
I was about 14? Yeah, it was one of those weird things that you did with your girlfriends when you spent the night, as sleepover.
Yeah.
We did those, and we had some weird things happen, but it's not, their parents kept telling the kids, "Oh, that's fake. It's fake," and it's like,
yeah.
I don't think so.
No, it isn't fake. I tell people all the time, you mess with that, you get what you get what you get, and if you don't know how to close, when you open up, well, that's when I find people coming to me and say, "Hey, I need to have my home saged, or I need to be
you know what?
saged."
It was government subsidized housing. It needed to be saged anyway.
That's right.
I mean, they were new when we moved
right.
in. So, like I said, it was new when we moved in, but when we left some stuff behind. But yeah, it is weird when you think about all the stuff we did as kids.
Yeah. And that seance stuff, I never did the seance, but my friend Charlotte, her and her sisters, Brenda, Charlotte, and I don't remember who else, they did that kind of garbage before I even came to their home to stay the night, right? Like before I came into the picture. And one night we were all laying there, and Charlotte and we're all her sisters, and we're sleeping in the attic, right? And we're laying there, and I'm having a hard time going to sleep, and this is kind of before things happened to me, but I was having a real hard time going to sleep, and all of a sudden I look over, and I feel like I'm asleep, but I'm not. So I look over, and Charlotte's arm's like this, and hey, wait, you can't see me. Her arm is like this, just levitating, and I'm over here going like, what the heck? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, their attic window, came open, flew open, and it was locked. And we all jumped up and we took off, back in the day. But that was some creepy shit because they were messing with the Ouija board about a week or two before I even came home.
Yeah.
Not my bag. I'm not into that.
No.
Seen too much stuff.
Do you read tarot cards?
I do not. No.
Did you ever have an interest in those?
Not at all. I don't need to.
I don't know I have 3 sets.
Mm-hmm.
One set was given to me by my kids.
Yeah.
You haven't done anything.
No, I like looking at them. I think they're fun to look at.
Hey, they're pretty to look at, but I don't know. My take on that is it's commercialized and kind of geared to tell you what you need to say per card. I had a friend that had them, and I'm like, why does it tell you to interpret what is on there and tell people what?
I know people that will look at them and they go, "This is what it means to me." They go,
"Yeah,
I don't care what the little package says. The little book. You shouldn't have to read a book this thick to tell you what the 72 cards mean."
Right.
I mean, it's good to have some idea what they might mean, but Chuck Banks gave me a deck. He sent me a deck for a gift, and they're right here. They still look brand new because I've only opened them and looked at them. That was it. They're the Archangel Power Tarot cards. And like I said, here's a little book. I wasn't kidding about how thick that is.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
For these 72 cards, it's a book of,
wow.
Let's see, 183 pages. I just think, I think that there's a lot of beautiful artwork in some of the tarot cards.
Yeah. And I agree.
I think that they would make beautiful artwork for your, for walls and stuff, as long as you know what they mean. As long as you know
as accurate as the horoscope reading.
Yeah, I mean, you can use dice.
Right,
you can use
Ron,
dice and get the same crap. I mean, when it comes right down to it, play Yahtzee.
Yes.
Throw the
Or
dice,
make,
and if you get
or make
5,
that
6,
little envelope. Make your
Yeah.
envelope.
there you go.
Yes,
Or,
no, yes, no, or
what's
yes,
funny?
no, or
Or
maybe
how
so, or
about
whatever.
Yeah.
how about
What's your favorite color? What's your favorite number?
what was funny was
Yeah.
we were at Walmart with Leah in Easley. We were there, and she found an
Yeah.
8-ball, and she goes, "Should I divorce Tyler?" And she shakes it up, and she goes, and it kept saying the
Same answer.
same answer every time. And I was like, anybody who gives any credibility to the magic 8-ball, you might as well be accepting that your fortune cookies are right every time and that they're not mass produced.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I'm not going to tell her that.
And you can't refund them, because they're real.
Oh yeah.
After the show, we're going to tell you a funny story, but we're not going to do it on here.
Right on.
Where can everybody find you?
Well, by my phone number, and I don't mind putting it out there because I do have caller ID. So it's 402-217-6334, or they can go to Facebook, look me up, Cheryl Ann Elliott Fletcher, and they can just go that direction, or they can find me on what is it, Instagram, 1 in 6 million, Cheryl Ann at 1 in 6 million, or they can just holler at me on Facebook, message me.
And if you can't find her in any of those ways, just reach out to me and I will tell you where to find her. I'll tell you where to go. It's my favorite job of every day is telling people where to go.
Exactly.
So
no doubt. Let's do that.
So I would like to thank you so much for coming on, and I'd like to invite everyone to come back next Monday night at 7 p.m. Central when I have my 10-year anniversary show, and my guest is going to be Kat Hobson. She was my inspiration for starting these shows. I would have had my first guest on here, but he's no longer with us, so we're going to go with Kat. And so please make sure that you come next week, bring questions, and we'll get you answers. And, if you remember something from a certain show and you want to remind me about it, please do that. And so you can check us out here on the Paranormal Pride through any of the stations that we have listed above. And I'm going to tell you what they are. Things Network. Ron and I are part of Things Network of Florida. You can also check us out on Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment, the Bill of Rights Network that has been proudly hosting me for a long time. I can't even tell you how long now. And on the Denise Pridemore LinkedIn and the Paranormal Pride YouTube page. And tonight we were live on Rumble on Born TV. So check that out. You can also find us in replay on the Dark Realm Network on Roku and Amazon Prime. So check that, Amazon Fire, not Amazon Prime, Amazon Fire. And then you can check out all the other shows on the Bill of Rights Network and Dark Realm TV, Things Network, and Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. And you are going to find something there that you're going to love. And join us Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Central when Carl, Ron, and I interview Fresh Meat, whoever it is, whoever I can find, or if Carl can find, or Ron suggests. And if you guys have any suggestions, please send them to me. I will hunt them down and get them on here. And right now, tomorrow night, Ron and I won't be on the show. Carl, are you having one tomorrow night? No show tomorrow night at 6 p.m., but join us next Tuesday night at 6 p.m. for Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal. See you guys and have a great night and take care.
All right.